Konstantin is able to expose exactly how the UK got to the point that they have. This is the CEO of the Center for Countering Digital Hate.
I tell you what, you are being disrespectful.
An astonishing amount of people are being arrested for posting things on Facebook and the like. Well, what is digital hate?
Most people know what hate speech is when they see it, and should be able to.
I don't know that I know what hate speech is when I see it.
And also, do you not feel as well?
It's a shame.
I don't know the Tottenham
It's a shame
fan.
for you.
Well, I don't know. So you could say all sorts. Is Tottenham fans?
What you're doing is desperately trying to find the one or two examples of things in which there is a marginal case where the use of hate speech is just about justifiable.
One or two examples? There have been thousands. We just saw the comedian get arrested at the airport.
Comedy writer Graham Linehan was arrested by 5 officers at Heathrow Airport over posts on social media about trans people.
And those are absolutely fringe cases.
Yes, okay, you might be able to point to one or two, but usually it's very clear. We can see this, just clear cut, and we know who to arrest.
But it's sad to me that you can't define.
No,
Speech
sorry.
normally.
Hold on a second. You're misrepresenting what I'm saying. I'm not saying if someone comes up to a black person in the
Again,
street.
rewind and just listen.
Good. I hope people do that because they'll see what that you're misrepresenting what I'm saying. What I'm saying, I'm not saying if someone walks up to a black person in the street and calls them the N-word, that's not hate speech. I'm not going, oh my God, well, I don't know what that is. What I'm saying is the definition has to include everything that is hate speech and exclude everything that isn't. Well, that's what a definition is.
If we're going to enforce this through law, we need a clearly applicable definition. But watch how he dances around this.
The definition of hate speech, you can go to the absolute fringes of things which may or may not be depending on the circumstances, or you can just say, for the main part, it's f***ing obvious.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, we're going to enforce this law, okay? How do we define when that law is committed? It's effing obvious.
So please don't make a game out of it.
To question that is to make a game out of it.
The Macpherson definition of racism is whether or not the victim perceives it as being hateful and harmful towards them.
This is where he makes the mistake because Konstantin is able to take this logic and hit him in the head with it. That shouldn't be hate speech. I'm talking about it as a metaphor.
So if you kept interrupting me during the course of this conversation, which you have, and I perceive that to be motivated by the fact that you're from a Muslim background and I'm from a Jewish background, would that make that hate speech?
No.
You just said it comes down to whether the victim perceives it as hate speech.
But my self-perception is that.
No, it's just that you're really slow at talking and my brain's already finished your sentence
But
for you.
my perception isn't that. You walked out of the room, and when you walk out of here, I'm going to turn to these guys and say, well, that was a lot of hate speech, wasn't it?
That's fine. You can say that that's hate speech.
And then you can be prosecuted.
It's absolutely fine for you to say that's hate speech if you want.
The point is your definition does not work when applied.
And then you can be prosecuted.
If me interrupting you is hate speech, and that's your definition of it, I tell you what, you are being disrespectful to the people who do receive hate speech.
But what is hate speech? What is the definition of hate speech? It just doesn't mean hate doesn't exist. You're talking about something in the application of law.
The enormous number of people who receive hate speech, real, clear,
so do I.
Undeniable hate speech.
Okay, if it's real and it's clear and it's undeniable, you should be able to define it.
So do I.
And your sophistry right now is both transparent.
It's pure logic. And this is how people who cannot contend with the logic go about it. They claim it's sophistry.
It's
and deeply disrespectful. And I warn you that most of your listeners will think to themselves, actually, Konstantin's being a bit of a dickhead right now.
Okay. If you agree with him, let me know in the comments. I have a feeling that's not going to be the result.
That's interesting that you say that, because what I'm doing is I'm stress testing your argument. And the point I'm making to you is a person's self-perception can be manipulated. People can lie about how they perceive their the things that they experience. And sometimes people will use the law against other people when it's badly written. Don't you think that's true?
I do think it's true.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm not really being a dickhead. I'm stress testing your argument.
This is why we're seeing what's going on in the UK go so badly. Because if you're going to just make this the standard, well, it's up to the person's perception.
And calling me a dickhead might be considered hate speech.
No, it's not hate speech. It's just good observation.
Fine.
Wow. And that's exactly what the people that you're arresting would say in response to you. They're saying, I'm just simply making an observation. That fits into the sponsor of today's video, Ground News. Ground News is an app and website that lets you compare perspectives on any topic with full transparency on the political bias, financial incentives, and credibility behind the headlines. Whatever the debate shaping our lives is, the narratives we hear can shape what we think before we've even had a chance to question it. Critical thinking is all about thinking for oneself to navigate the stories and the patterns that make up the world. We see the differences in these stories through the lens of the media. Follow your favorite topics or simply paste any article link in their search bar to find the full coverage on heated issues and swipe between perspectives to form your own opinion based on all the facts. Ground News was designed to give you back control over your thoughts. That's why they created their blind spot feed, one of the most important things to check before trying to have constructive dialogue with people who think differently than you. Go to ground.news/Smith or scan the QR code on the screen. Viewers get the top tier Vantage plan for just $5 a month. So it's a handy tool, how best to navigate those stories. That's where Ground News comes in.
I have definitely noticed since Elon Musk took over Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, that there's been more anti-Semitic content in my feed and in replies to me, etc. Right?
Mm-hmm. Listen carefully to what Konstantin says here, because this guy's going to try to play the exact same game of mischaracterizing what he said and then telling us to rewind the tape.
Generally speaking, I have to say I'm pretty comfortable with that, because what I've also noticed is that a lot of people who otherwise were not able to say things that they should have been able to say, in my opinion, were being censored, were being banned, etc. Those people are now back on the platform and able to say whatever it is. Men can't change sex.
That's the moment that really upsets this guy.
I think what we're talking about is, how do you negotiate the conversation between that tension that's always existed in human communication between safety and freedom? You're grinning at me in a way that tells me you don't agree.
The way he characterizes this is shocking. Listen to how he does it.
With what I'm saying.
Oh, I just think it's remarkable that you're willing to tolerate the normalization of anti-Semitism to make a point about trans people.
Where did he talk about normalizing anti-Semitism?
I'm willing to tolerate people being hateful towards me.
Towards Jews, you just said.
Yes, I'm Jewish.
Right. In order to make a point about trans people.
Not in order to make a point about it. That's not what I said.
He's talking about the potential for silencing people that disagree with biology versus gender expression.
In order that people do not get banned off the platform for expressing what is a reasonable opinion.
Now, because Konstantin thinks that's a reasonable opinion, this guy seems to be upset by that.
About biology or sex or anything of that kind.
But I'm not personally aware of anyone being banned from any platform.
Meghan Murphy.
You can go on YouTube and see the arrest footage, the body cam footage, people recording the police coming into their living rooms.
Meghan Murphy is a gender-critical feminist who was banned from Twitter.
What was she banned for?
For saying men can't change sex or women can't change sex.
Okay.
That's it, okay?
So I think that, your sort of thing of, well, I'm willing to tolerate the normalization of anti-Semitism because some people were banned for saying that men can't be women.
Imran,
I disagree with you on that.
Hold on. You can't disagree
with
with something I didn't say.
No, I disagree with you on men and women.
That's the part he doesn't like. Gender is different from biology.
But that's fine, and we can talk about men and women if you like. But you just said...
I would really like to hear him try and defend that logic.
That I said I'm willing to tolerate the normalization of anti-Semitism. That is not what I said.
What did he say?
What I said is there has been an increase in anti-Semitism. It's not like there wasn't anti-Semites on Twitter before, right? I have seen more of that type of thing on my feed. It's not normalization. I'm not saying it's normal.
What did he say after that?
What I didn't say is I want the normalization of anti-Semitism because I want people to be able to be bigots against trans people, which seems to be slightly what you're saying. What I said...
I think if people go and rewind right now, they'll find that's exactly what you said. And look...
Okay, let's rewind and see.
A lot of people who otherwise were not able to say things that they should have been able to say, in my opinion, were being censored, were being banned, etc. Those people are now back on the platform and able to say whatever it is. Men can't change sex, women can't, whatever it is.
If this is the guy in charge, this is a very bad idea.
Should you be able to call for an armed revolution on social media?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if you're calling for an armed revolution, that would be a call for violence, which is against the law. We already have the legal framework.
Well, do you think they should?
Well, wouldn't that cause harm?
Do you think you should?
Let me ask you this question. We can play the argument forward logically. Should you be able to call for
It depends on the context.
Well, but wouldn't an armed revolution...
Should an individual be able to? That's up to the platform.
So if it's illegal, it's not up to the platform. It's already determined by the laws.
I don't know. I mean, should people be able to call for violence? Probably not. If you can't do it on the street, should you be able to do it on Twitter? Should Twitter enforce the same rules as you would have anywhere else? Probably.
Keep in mind, this is the CEO of censoring hateful content online.
CCDH's primary goals are to ensure that every country legislates what we call the STAR framework.
He's a strategist. He has advised Elizabeth Warren.
Or Elizabeth Warren and Lindsey Graham, two people from very different parts of the political spectrum, have an idea for an FCC for social media in the US. I think it's a grand idea.
Great. Let's enforce an online FCC in the US so we can do what they're doing in the UK. How could that go wrong?